Yo, it's Red J. So, I've been awake for a little more than 3 hours now, so I've gone back, reread the chapter a bit, uh, skimmed through, and made notes of the most important things to me. First off, I gotta say, after reading the chapter the first time, I kind of thought back to myself and realized that I don't think we've seen Pedro in quite a few chapters. But going back, I did see him in the background, so we're all good there. Another thing is at, during the during my read through, I saw assassination, and I know they meant assassination, but it didn't click to me that they just didn't put in a hyphen because like ass was on the first line, then assassination was on the second and all, and yeah, so that's just me being a dumbass. Anyway, so now going through all my notes. Uh, One thing that we have definitely established is Chefin is going to have to flee if, and her child as well, and most likely go with Beige to end his pirate crew just wherever they end up going at the end of this arc, unless something is resolved with between Big Mom and Lola, which personally I hope that happens, but I don't know if it'll happen. So as it stands right now, since that isn't resolved, she will have to flee most likely, unless something changes, as I said. Another thing is, so Germa Double Six. I need to get in the habit of saying that now. Germa Double Six is definitely staying to fight the Big Mom pirates and like all her children and Big Mom herself. Well, Caesar carries Beige away while everyone else is inside of Beige. However, one problem with that plan: Sanji and Luffy jumped out last second and are now fighting Big Mom, which is how the chapter ends. So, next chapter, I'm hoping we get to see Big Mom versus Luffy and Sanji, because I am really wanting to see Sanji fight a lot more. We haven't seen him fight too much lately, so I'm really looking forward to it. That's one of the main things I liked about Film Gold. I got to see him fight. Anyway, uh, Judge has told Sanji that he will not go after him or the East Blue anymore. Which, that's pretty big, because his dream is to conquer the East Blue, right? That's basically his dream. So he confirmed in this chapter that unless he's lying or something happens that forces him to change his mind and go back on his word, he is giving up on his dream. Which is, that's huge. Like, for a One Piece character to be giving up on their dream, that's huge. Like, I can't stress that enough, how, like, shocking that is to me. Uh, and then he also did say that he'll never try and hunt down Sanji again or use him in some sort of running or something. Uh, Again, hopefully he doesn't go back on his word on that. I wouldn't mind if they show up in the future or something. That'd be pretty nice if they show up as allies of the Straw Hats, but then again, I don't see that happening. But I did kind of expand upon this in my notes. Uh, Judge did say we don't need to be indebted to a failure. But now Sanji is helping them fight. So if Sanji, like, if something happens and, like, something huge happens that seriously threatens all their safety, and Sanji and Luffy, like, help them, save them, then they then are indebted to a failure in Sanji. So that would be a good way to set them up as allies of the Straw Hats and have them join the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. However, at the same time, I don't see that being very likely because of the kind of rocky relationship right now between Sanji and Judge. I just don't see it happening like too realistically. It would be cool to see because I wouldn't mind these characters coming back, but again, not that high of potential in my opinion. Anyway, where are my next on my notes? I've been going like up and down the list on my notes in no sort of order. Anyway, okay. Next thing, Reiju is happy. I wanted to point that out. I'm really glad that Reiju is happy right now. She is happy because the Judge is giving up on his dream of conquering the East Blue, and that makes her happy, and that makes me happy. So, let's see. I talked about Sanji and Luffy versus Big Mom. Caesar still doesn't have his heart. I think that's worthy of note because that means that he's still forced to follow Caesar's orders, and by extension, everyone else. Because honestly, as long as Caesar agrees, he'll force the Caesar to, or as long as Beja agrees, he'll force Caesar to do it. Oh, and another thing, Niji showed care for Reiju. Reiju was being attacked by the heavenly fire attack from Big Mom, which I misread when I first read through the chapter. I read that as her saying heavenly and like calling their actions of leaving the castle heavenly, and then yelling out fire. But no, I'm pretty sure her attack that she used was heavenly fire. So another blunder on my part. But hey, it's my first time doing a live reaction. Not much I could say other than that. But yeah, Reiju was being under attack by the heavenly fire. She was surrounded by the fire, like encased in the fire. And Niji looked over and yelled out Reiju's name. And then Ichiji yelled at him to focus. So if I had to make any sort of a guess, that means that potentially every single Vinsmoke got a different level of emotionlessness, if that's a word. So like Sanji, or well, also like the experiment in general of making them all superhuman children without emotions, really. Sanji was completely unaffected. Reiju was unaffected by the emotional part. She still has all the power ups. I assume at this point she still has all the power ups that the other children have. And then Niji is he still is powerful, but he has a little bit of emotion, but not fully emotion. Like he doesn't have full emotion compared to like Sanji and Reiju. And then Niji, completely emotionless, completely uncaring, and still like fully powered. I don't know where Yonji would rank in that. I don't know if my rankings saying that has any sort of like truth behind it. But from my understanding, what seeing that made me think, that's what I think is like going on with them right now. I think they all have different levels of strength tied with the emotions that will show from being tested on as children, really, well, like before being born and all. Anyway, uh, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So I enjoyed the chapter. It was the best chapter we had in the past 2 weeks, and it's been 2 weeks since we had a chapter. So can't believe I just did that. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. I enjoyed the chapter. Hopefully you did too. I also the website I used was Kessimanga, and that's the website I used to read through the chapter today during my live reading, my live reaction video thing. And but normally I use an app on my phone to read. I think it's called Manga Zone. I think, pretty sure it is. But I went back because I figured it'll be easier to zoom in and stuff on my phone, so it'll be easier to reread it on my phone. But it's a completely different translation, which really caught me off guard. But something I did notice from skimming through on my phone, though, is, let's see, instead of Brooke saying that Beige was not going to do some kind of, like, going down with the ship type of thing, and then Beige is like, "Oh, that's not a bad idea." Brooke was like, "You're not planning on taking us all down with you, are you?" And then Beige was like, "Ah, that's not a bad idea." That's how it went on the app. Honestly, I kind of think that some of the things that were translated in the app are a little more correct than on Kiss Manga. Like another thing is instead of Sanji saying my boss, he said my father, and that set in stone that he was definitely referring to Zeph. And that to me was a little like, that wasn't clear to me the first time I read it. Like, I assumed, yeah, it was Zeph, because he did think about Zeph, otherwise I don't think he would have. But him then saying his father, that set in stone for me that it was definitely Zeph, and that was translation on the app instead of Kiss Manga. Anyway, I'm not trying to just sit here and like talk about all the different translations. I'm gonna get on out of here. Still don't know how to do an outro, but hopefully I'll figure something out. But anyway, see you guys. Peace out. What did I-